everybody, welcome back to the Bill and Ray Show. I am out in the torch shop making another marble today, and I'm going to do some kind of lengthy prep work, so we'll probably edit that down so we can see what's relevant with that. And I've got a ribbon cane that I want to make, and I've got a glass mix that I'm going to do, which I actually haven't done before. So we're going to get into this and see where we can get to. I've got this Disco Sparkle, which is a very sparkly, heavy sparkle color, but it's been advertised that you should mix this down with some other color, so I'm going to mix it down with some Cobalt. I want to get a handle on just a little piece of this. So I'm going to be cutting off just a very small. I'd like you to stay attached here. So I just have this little tiny piece of it. And then we've got just some, this is Cobalt 1, just a light cobalt glass. And we're going to see if we can mix it up. So, and I've used this particular Disco Sparkle on the outside of the marble. I didn't really like the results. It was easy to turn it gray, and it's very rough texture. The material inside there that's making the sparkle is pretty chunky, so it doesn't like to lay down as a smooth color. So pretty cold morning today, so just some of this warm-up, literal warm-up exercises in the torch shop. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out to a stringer size. Yeah, let's see how this turns out. Hopefully we still have some pretty good chunky sparkle, and nice light blue coating. So, we'll see how that goes. The ribbon cane. This is going to be sort of a jelly-filled ribbon cane. So we're going to start off with some half-blood. Instead of the darker dragon's blood, this is half-blood. Half the intensity is the full-strength dragon's blood. So this is the jelly filling inside a ribbon cane. my mug full of marbles to keep me company. Alright, then on top of that we are going to use some purple lilac. And this is a color that kind of goes opaque to translucent. And I'm assuming that in the final result inside the marble it will be more opaque than translucent. Start getting our little football. Now we'll start our initial twisting. Just a real gentle twist. Going into the L marver here and keeping that shape nice. Oops. Sometimes you're kind of hypnotized watching this and then you don't realize that one of your punties is falling apart. Okay, twisting a little bit and pulling out a little bit. Okay, a little more aggressive twist. And I can pull this out a little bit more. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if this will be a base to twist this out to the cane that I want to use. I'm going to use this in the backdrop of a compression interior. So this end here is a little messy. Got some different things going on there until we get to about here. We're getting into some pretty clean cane. So now I want to focus on pulling this out. Some fairly fine rotations. Alright, so we get this out to kind of a length that's starting to get awkward. Cut this off. And you can kind of see how that cane is transitioning from showing the red. You can start seeing the interior red jelly surrounded by this other translucent glass. So that's a nice hole there. We'll cut this off. Now, we're going to be using the florist frog to do our impression for our compression pattern. An impression for further compression. Does that sound right? Okay, we're going to get into building up the gather, flatten the end, and make our impression on the florist frog. Now we let that set up a little bit, then we're going to heat that front face, and then we're going to press it to a flat face. Okay, so we try and drop this straight down on the marver. Okay, put a little beeswax onto our pins for this next step to make an impression. So, ready here, heat the face. After the rest of it is kind of cooled down a little bit. I'm going to heat this face until it's pretty good and hot. And then we're going to come down on here. And make a little impression of all our little dots. Where we're going to add some color. Okay, get all my crazy magnification on here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start off with some yellow. The flame is too much. Starting off with some yellow, which is pretty sensitive to the heat. Try and add these dots by starting on one side and pushing it kind of across the little dimple. Okay, it's got yellow and then purple and then blue-green. Okay. Now our last one is deep blue. It can take a little more heat. This outer ring, for one, it's not exactly on center, but these dimples aren't quite as pronounced. Okay, I gotta get this thing off. Get this warm back up as soon as we can. We were out of the heat there for quite a while, so try and get some general heat going back into this piece. Kind of a timing issue there. It's got enough mass to retain that heat for quite a while, and the big fat clear stuff, it's unlikely to cool down enough to where it's just going to crack. It takes a little while to cool off. So we'll get this back up to a bit of a glow. Put my clippies back on. And some of you may be concerned that I had my Lynx torch turned down too small, which I'm going to overheat the face of it, but get it dialed in right, it's not really an issue. It's not, face isn't getting overheated. There's enough gas flow going through, and the flame is so small it's not generating a lot of heat. Okay, this phase we were trying to get these dots to just all melt in. But I got this whole backside so hot that it's wobbling all over the place. So now begins the whole compression. So we get things kind of up to heat so we can bring that fire more face on to get those dots nicely melted in. We'll come over here to the marver. Our first set down, and now we're trying to get kind of across that face, really kind of keep the direct flame off of the color dots themselves. Right now just trying to get that edge, get it tilted down a little bit. The geometry is pretty out of whack at this point. I'm just trying to keep it on center and get this process started. This again is a very slow, methodical process. But this is also just a lot of fun to watch this happening and trying to capture some of this on video. It's not always easy to get the angle and the lighting right. You can see it's starting to develop. It's oftentimes referred to as compression because that whole pattern of dots it's shrinking down to just a central point. And we keep putting that on the marver plate to cool things down and press things. Kind of press that glass, get it to move a little bit. So the other way of looking at this and thinking about it is the clear glass is folding around this outside edge. Different colors will tend to move in different rates, basically. So that outer ring of the dark or deep blue, that's a fairly stiff color. So it's going to, instead of kind of blooming out, it's going to kind of fade into the background to some extent. And now as it gets that color is all getting compressed into the middle, start getting more heat into that center. A bit more aggressive with the heating here. Now that most of that color pattern is trapped up inside the clear, get a little more aggressive at getting this to shape up. So in a largish piece like this, you wind up with kind of this little pocket that just doesn't want to quite move. Some would say that's because I didn't do enough flattening on the marver, but no matter what you do, it's just that center is very reluctant, and it's hard to get enough heat into the very central part. But basically all those colors are kind of merging together, and they're getting a lot of work has been done on them, a lot of heat, so they're getting stiffer. So you really don't want to move. So sometimes just by really focusing the heat just on that very end, we can get those colors to pull together. But then you kind of encounter another effect that color wants to do. When it gets up on the surface, and it might want to spread out. So it's just the opposite of what it's been doing. It starts kind of blooming out onto the surface. So it's getting hot right on the end. It's going to hold it touch down right where I want to be, but try and kind of attach some glass there and pull on it. And you start kind of wrestling with it to get this end to come out. Meantime, might as well start shaping up our cone-shaped interior. Now I'm going to grab this color end and try to be kind of gentle with it. So pull it out, melt it a bit. So I want to discard just this very bit on the end. Okay. Now we're at the point where we're going to use our ribbon cane that we started out with. Okay, let's get this whole thing heated up a bit. you want to put this spiral on here without touching the previous run. I've got my angle all kind of spun around, but trying to get that heat to go up inside those rows. See that glass all flattens out on the surface, so it's done all its proportions. A gentle marver. Okay, now this next thing I was thinking I was going to do, it's hot, 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 do a little frit. Probably isn't going to show up a whole bunch, but I'm going to go for it. Turn that exposure down. Okay. Now we're going to do a little bit of gold fume. Hard to tell, I just want a little bit, and then we're going to start covering up the back side. Some turbo amethyst. Now this layer is not completely opaque, but it will give a visual dark background. So this finished marble will actually have a little bit of light transmission through the back side. Which most of the time you wouldn't really notice that, but chase down some of this where it looks a little lighter. And I'm not sure about this end. I think I'm going to try and pull off, make this a little bit sharper tip. Okay, that's really good. And this background. Okay, so before we start filling in the backside, we're going to do some silver fume. This won't exactly make it more opaque, but it'll kind of change things. Okay, let's see what's going on here. You're sort of dropping that angle down to pull that clear out into the chip there. Okay, now the back side we have Silver Strike 5, some mint, and the cane that stringer we pulled out with the sparkles. So we'll start out with the Silver Strike 5. Okay, then our special juice here. So the intrigue of using this sparkle, disco sparkle, is that you can mix it down with clear or with different colors. So you might have like a pomegranate, one of the lighter red translucent colors, transparent really. I might have put the sparkling red or sparkling some of the bluish green tone colors. Use some warm colors that are maple syrup or honey or one of those kind of light brownish colors. Might be interesting to have them sparkle. Okay, see if the torch gods will smile on a raking here. Yeah, it's thick and chewy. Yeah. Oh, don't do that. Okay, well, a couple little bobbles there. Okay, well, you see, felt a little weird breaking, but this stage here can affect the looks of that compression centerpiece. I'm going to try and avoid getting too much distortion. So we try and build up a pretty good mass of glass on this end before we start worrying about shaping up that circumference. Alright. Put that in with the L marver and heat up the marble side. Pull it out just a little bit. Don't go yanking the sew it to a big long stringy thing. I'm going to pull off some clear glass, but also kind of define that edge of the color. So you get enough heat directed at the right spot, and then you kind of backtrack a little bit. Drag that across. And we'll come back to the beginning, and I'm going to feather this out. Tag that little end down. And we can go with a bit more propane and skim off some of the rest of this glass. All right. Well, anybody that's still hanging on watching this, I hope you're doing well. We got up at 7 o'clock this morning. It was about 10 below here, 10 below Fahrenheit. I warmed up above zero by the time I got out here. It took me a couple hours getting the shop warmed up. But this weather has kind of sent me into hibernation mode, so I'm trying to just be mellow today and get a little glass work done. Hopefully share a little bit with you all our crazy lifestyle here. Ray's been spending a good deal of time on the computer in the office working on her next book. He's got a children's book series. There's links in the descriptions below. You can check those out on Amazon. We're just kind of trying to recover from a lot of clearing snow over the last week or 10, it goes back a while I guess, but we're supposed to get a little bit of snow each day for the next few days, which is, that's okay, we need it, but I hope we don't get all that much. Don't have any place to put it. Keep plowing the road and it gets narrower and narrower each time you plow it. Well, this marble has a lot of clear on the front. I'm going to try and preserve that. It's going to be kind of challenging to get this backside to shape up. Now we'll see if we can heat this up enough to make it move. This is a somewhat unusual shape at this point. Sometimes you're just going to have to trust the fact that glass rotating with heat is going to get rounder if it's high surface tension. Do a little fast rotation to try and push that glass out without tooling. Fast spinning gets a little harder to do once the punchy gets a little soft. And it helps pull it together. But then once we got quite a bit of heat, we got it kind of bunched up. It's a pretty funky shape, so we'll drop it into the marble mold and get this to move a little bit. That got us most of the way there. It's a touch small for this mold. Get a smaller one. Yeah, you won't be able to see that red ribbon pane until it comes out of the kiln. Right now it's going to be basically transparent. Okay, at this point we can bleed off some heat. We've got the basic round shape pretty well done, so we're just going to keep spinning this and give it a chance to chill down. And I'm just reheating this back face. Hopefully just get this up to a temperature where it can skin over a little bit, and we'll just let that cool down. We're getting there, just about done. It's going to be really pretty, I think. Got our last punchy attachment here. Oh, actually bringing up a little color there in the background. That's going to be really neat. Just kind of hanging this down here. Okay, start getting a good glow, and then we'll drop into the mold carefully from the back side. Bring it up to the face. And now we'll just do a couple passes with just heating and cooling. Bring it up to a good glow, and just kind of let it rest. Okay, we'll cycle that again. Kind of focusing the heat really on the very front top face. Yeah, now we just got to cool it down enough to get it into the marble mold so we can get it in the kiln. You never know the whole geometry. Sometimes these compression features inside really like fill out the whole marble, and this one's kind of sitting in the middle. It's got a lot of room around it, which is kind of unusual, but it lets you see all the way down inside there. You can see the tail of that compression. The deep blue in particular will carry all the way down there. It's got a little wiggle to it. It's a neat, kind of neat feature. Okay, wet tweezers on here. A little patience at this last step. Don't want to shortcut this, getting this end smooth out. You can watch the reflections roll it around. Pretty good. Awesome sauce. These aren't wet. Pretty nice. I like it. Okay, into the kiln. Alright, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for supporting our silly channel, the Bill and Ray Show. Keeps us out of trouble. You all stay good, and we will see you next time.